Hi guys, it's Steffi from the Novelty Corner and welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Top 5 Wednesday video. Top 5 Wednesday is hosted by Sam from Thoughts on Tomes and it is a Goodreads group, so I'll leave that linked down below if you would like to check it out. This week's topic is top 5 villains, so I have pulled out some books and characters that I think make really good villains. These are in no particular order, I'm just going to talk about them as I pull them out. Victor and Eli from Vicious by V.E. Schwab are really interesting because they're villains to each other, and I particularly like that. So this story, for those who are unfamiliar, but most people will be because the sequel has just been released, this book tells the story of Victor and Eli, who are college students who are trying to find the origins of superpowers, and they discover a way to give themselves abilities, then have a massive falling out, and basically become the villains of their own story, particularly with each other. It is a really great series. It's a great entry point for sci-fi for people who are interested, or even to superhero sort of stuff for people who are not familiar with the genre. Mrs. Coulter and the Oblation Board from the His Dark Materials series by Philip Pullman. She is truly terrifying. His Dark Materials trilogy focuses on Lyra and her travels between different worlds via a means called dust. And Mrs. Coulter and the Oblation Board are very interested in dust, to the point where they start kidnapping children and experimenting on them in very gruesome and violent ways. So she is very much a villain. The Oblation Board is truly terrible. There are a few villains that I could pick out in Illuminate, but I'm going to go with Baytek as being the main villain, who are the big corporation that basically blew up a mining colony, all for the sake of trying to claim the materials on the planet for themselves, and then caused a chain of events that involved space chases, big explosions, occupation, you name it, they've done it. All for a profit margin, which to me makes them an ultimate villain. So this is 5 books, but they're all about the same character who I want to talk about, and that is Grand Admiral Thrawn from the Star Wars Expanded Universe series. So in the Legacy series, The Hand of Thrawn, he was the main antagonist, and that included Heir to the Empire, Dark Force Rising, and The Last Command. And then when that series was sort of retconned, they kept him in the series, which I think is really fantastic because he's one of the Imperial antagonists that I think is the most interesting from the book series, and it would be really cool if he actually got his own film. I really like him because he's clever, he's thoughtful, and he's methodical, and everything that he does has a reason, and he's able to think many steps ahead of his opponents, which is what makes him a really great adversary in the books. And having read him as both the antagonist and the protagonist of his own series, I find him a really interesting character to relate to because he's just so interesting in the way he thinks and the way he plots and plans. So I really enjoy his character. And the last book that I want to talk about is Ice Station by Matthew Riley, and the fact that the villains in this are everyone. So for those of you who aren't familiar, Ice Station is a action, adventure, military story, and it is very fast-paced. I talk about it all the time. It's one of my favorite books. In this story, a US Marine recon team is sent to Wilkes Ice Station in Antarctica to secure the base when they discover an unknown metal buried deep within the ice. Well, once they get there, everything goes to crap very quickly, and suddenly they are attacked by everyone. So everyone is a villain. Every single country is trying to get their hands on what Wilkes Ice Station has found. The team comes up against resistance from the French, the British, the American, the Australians, everyone. Everyone is trying to get their hands on what they found, and you can't actually trust anyone. And that, I think, is really intriguing because the villain then goes from being one person to this massive range where you actually don't know who the main villain is or why. And I find that particularly interesting because I think it's always very easy to blame bad actions on one person, but when multiple people are perpetuating bad actions, I think that is far more interesting. So those are some of my top 5 villains. In the comments, let me know who are your favorite villains in books. Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. I hope that wherever you are in the world, you're having a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.